Good morning, wherever you are, and thank you so much for creating time to join us on Good Morning Kenya, today being the 29th of November 2017. It is Wednesday, and we're really glad that you could create time to join us today as we get to focus on issues, lifestyle matters that help us live a better life, a healthier life, a more fashionable life. And this is where we do it every Wednesday. So today we choose to look at personal hygiene, and the more specific issue that you want to address this morning is body odor. There's a difference between natural odor and bad odor that you should be concerned about in different parts of our body that we will be talking about this morning, just to understand how do we better take care of ourselves better. And if you're having issues, wale watu wenye ukiwakaribisha kwa nyumba wanasema mi ndasimama tu hapa nje, because they know akiingia itabidi utoe viatu, na ukitoa viatu that's another story. This is your show actually, just to understand what causes odor on your feet, and then issues to do with the regular cleaning. How do you do it to make sure that you're a better person and you're freer when you're hugging people and mingling with people? So this morning it's all about usafi, and I have a personal hygiene expert with me in studio. Her name is Valentine Nyakiere. Yes, karibu sana to the program. Maybe a word of hello to my viewer.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Yes.
And hello to all the viewers. Karibu sana to this interview.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's going to be great. I am all passionate about personal hygiene, and body odors is a topic that is close to my heart.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming and for creating time to do this with us. And when you say personal hygiene expert, kama mtu hakuoga hapa leo. We have an expert in the building just to understand more about this. But then let's start our conversation, Valentine. When we say body odor, which one is, there are people who prefer natural, and say, me, I can't use perfume.
Yeah.
There are people who cannot do without perfume or roll-on or anything. So before we even start to get into what's body odor, how do we avoid bad body odor, what's natural and what's bad? What should we be concerned about? The one that is really even a health issue that you should be concerned about?
Well, first off, you smell fresh yourself.
Wow, Kai, that came, and thank you. I was waiting for that.
Yeah. I'd say, in my opinion, as a personal hygiene specialist, I'd say the thing is, there's smelling fresh, like I've said, and there's bad smell. Yeah.
Okay.
Then when you use cologne, when you use everything else, you are just topping up on the fresh. That is what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
But generally, you're supposed to smell fresh. And fresh, I don't know how I would explain fresh, but like how you wash your beddings or your towel, and
the very first time,
yes, and it's very fresh. That is what I'm talking about. You don't have an odor that is relating to certain foods, certain, animals, certain, you cannot relate that odor to anything. Because bad odors, you can easily relate them to anything. You can relate them to sewers, you can relate them to fats, you can relate them to, so many other things. You can relate them to all those other things, bad fish, bad milk, bad whatever. Spoiled food. But a fresh odor is a fresh odor, and that is what you have for your body. And that is the kind of odor that you get when you clean your body properly. Yes.
Okay, so there's that odor that you associate with bad things.
Yes,
that is bad.
That is bad.
But then you need to be fresh.
Yes.
And that would come with a lot of things that you're going to be talking about this morning.
Yes.
But then again, bad odor can come from any part of our body.
Yes.
Probably talk to us generally about the sensitive areas that we ought to check, probably, in case you feel like there's an issue somewhere. What are some of the areas in our bodies that are very prone to causing bad body odor?
I'd say everywhere where there's skin, there can be bad odor. depending on,
And
you
skin
know,
is everywhere.
and
It's the
skin is
largest
everywhere.
organ
It's the largest
in
organ.
our body, yeah.
Yes, there can be bad odor depending on very many factors. For example, your head can have bad odor if you're having a weave for too long. I mean, you can have bad odor because the skin is trapping all the bacteria, all the sweat, all the dust, all the oils, everything. Your ears can have bad odor.
Okay, sawa. Continue.
You know the stories of this weave is serving me for so long.
For so long.
No, those
3
are,
months.
yeah, it is so nice. It's not
repair.
aging. And then you go to the salon, and by the time you're removing the weave, it's
taking so long.
Yes. Then there's those buns that people make, the permanent ones. You know, you've made maybe you've braided your hair and you've made a bun, and then it
just stays there for like the whole time.
So there's a place where there's some sort of a hole where you put your finger and you scratch from there.
And you itch.
No, that's really bad. Yeah. If you can air out your head as often as possible, I would advise for it. Of course, I'm an air it every day person, but for those who are not able to do that every day, as often as possible would be good for you, so that you don't have smell. Of course, the ears can smell if they have a lot of dirt, and by that I don't mean you just have to go in there and remove whatever is in there, no. But there's the outer area of the ears where you can reach with your fingers. You need to clean that. You need to clean the lobe properly, because sometimes if you look at people closely, you'll find that the lobe has stains.
Like some dark.
Yeah, some stains, and it is because they don't clean it properly. The lobe has some corners. You need to clean those corners properly. You need to get into those corners and clean them, because anytime that you're out here, you're getting dust. And of course, you have oils and you have the sweat. So that means they are going to collect very fast. And that comes to a smell behind the ears as well.
Just out of curiosity, like how often and what do you use? Like, how do you do it? Like when you're cleaning your ear? This is something that it's not very common to many people.
Well, as long as you're not going into the ear, you know, you're not going into the ear. You're just going where your, you know, where your fingers can reach. Because I'm talking about the lobe itself, the ear lobe. Yeah? It's so, you know, it has the corners that are inside that you need to clean every time. And even when you're bringing up children, you need to train them to clean their ears every time. You need to go behind. There's a place here that you need to clean properly, behind the ear itself. If you're wearing earrings, you need to remove them every day and clean them up, because they can also produce a very, very bad smell. So where your fingers can reach, just you don't necessarily have to use soap. Okay, but if you have a clean towel, I always say a clean white towel will show you what is happening on your skin. So
you should always have like a white towel.
Yeah, it will show you what is happening on your skin. So I mean, if you have a brown towel and you're trying to clean your ear, you will not even know when your ear is.
And many people say, I need that brown or maroon towel because
Laziness.
The white one
laziness. I mean,
gets dirty quickly.
Yeah, but
if you see that, it's good news.
Yeah, it
shows
news.
That you need to clean more.
Yeah, because you're removing, and then you get to know when you know the skin is clean when you're cleaning it. So I always say white is good because it, you know, it notifies you when you're clean and
white
when you're
good.
not.
White bed sheets,
white
towel,
white is good. Yeah, white is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ears, you've talked about the hair. Yes.
Nostrils as well. They also do smell. Most people do not clean their nostrils when they're taking a bath. And that is because we assume that you just clean the outside, but you know, our nostrils have hairs that their work is to trap dust the whole day. So that is what they do on a daily basis. So you need to remove that dust, and you don't need to do that with soap again. When you have that clean towel, just run it through your nose, your nostrils, and you remove that dirt. Because sometimes when it collects, you can have some odor coming from there. Yeah.
This should be daily. Your
ear,
your nostrils.
Yeah, when you're taking your normal bath. That's why I keep saying those 1 minute baths, they may not make sense.
Wake up early.
Wake up early.
Take your time in the bathroom.
Take your time. Observe your skin, listen to your body, because when you do that, you get to know even when there's a problem somewhere. The other thing is those of us ladies that use
makeup,
you need to remove it properly. If you cannot remove it properly, do not put it on. You need to invest in some cotton wool, some olive oil for you to remove it properly. Because if it stays on for long and you get used to sleeping on it and smudging on top some more, and that means you're smudging on top even what had dust before, then you are going to have some odor. Assume you don't clean your ears, assume you don't clean your nostrils, assume you don't clean your eyes, your eyelids properly, assume your head
That's
has
like a lot of bad odor coming
yes,
together, and it forms
yeah, and you're going to start thinking you can cover
a
it
cocktail
with cologne.
of,
It's
know.
a cocktail
So
of
you
odors.
take your bath. That's why no wonder you take your bath. You feel like you should be fresh,
Yeah, but
people still complain.
Yeah, I'm not feeling as fresh.
Yeah, what's happening? So it could be your hair, it could be your nostrils, it could be just anything.
And you remember I was talking about bathing, and I was saying you need to pay attention to your body.
Okay, Valentine, because of time, we may not talk about the entire body that, but then there are very sensitive, essential areas due to public demand. Let's start with the feet. Let's start with the feet.
Yeah.
This is something that affects almost, every gender.
Yes.
People think it's only men who have this challenge,
yes.
but some women as well also suffer from this particular problem.
Yeah.
So what causes bad odor, and what are some of the, everyday issues that we need to focus on to avoid this problem?
Number one, feet. What causes bad odor? Well, number one, we can go to the most common, reuse of shoes. Because we use our shoes every day, we sweat, and the skin collects, because the skin itself has bacteria. So when sweat lands on the skin, there is the multiplication, because especially when the shoes are closed, what will happen is there's going to be room for the bacteria to multiply. Then there's going to be a smell coming from there. Then when that lands on the shoes and you put them the following day and the following day, that means the shoes have no time to air out. Right?
So like these people who have only one pair of shoe the
in
whole year.
Yes, there is danger. So you need to have...
So the problem is not you. The problem is that you're using one pair of shoe.
Yes, you need to have at least more than a pair of shoe, so that if you put on one today, you air it out and put it on, the other day, so that the whole day it's airing out, and preferably airing out outside.
Where there's air.
Where there's
and
air.
sun.
Because, I mean, if you are airing out your shoes inside your house where you cook from, where you don't even open windows, and if you do, your house is so full of, it's maybe very full of furniture and everything, there's not much air moving around, so they may never be fresh. So if you are going to air them, you need to air them outside. So if you're putting on a safari boot, you better have 2 pairs of safari boots. Otherwise, they're going to be really having some really bad smell. And the same goes for the socks. And for ladies who are using shoes sometimes which are velvet, those, they need extra care. Like during the day, you have to ensure you keep airing your feet, because they absorb much more
sweat.
Yes, than the others. So, and you get to have more smell. So it is important that you know the type of shoe that you have and what capabilities the shoe has. The other thing is the socks. For those that use socks, it is important that you change the socks and you clean them up properly.
The men.
This
is for you.
The men.
Yes.
You change your socks, you clean them up properly. I've heard that there are people who remove their socks and then they throw them into where the other clean ones are, so that by the time they are removing, they don't feel guilty of taking the dirty ones. So you need to clean your socks, and then you need to let your socks dry properly, because bacteria likes to thrive on, moist areas. So you don't want to put wet socks on your feet. Again, you don't want to
What if it's wash and wear? Itakauka kwa njia when we are going.
No.
Is that a problem? Is that what causes bad odor?
Yes.
These are everyday things that people do.
These are things
that... You just wear
that
something wet and you say it will dry.
It will dry. And then you see, human beings, we are habitual beings. So whenever we pick up a habit, and most of the time, we are more likely to stick to bad habits than to good habits, because bad habits are easy. So we pick up habits very fast, especially the bad habits. So when you start doing that, you find yourself doing it every other time, all right? So it is important that, you remove your socks. If you have problems, you know, with the rewinding socks, you put it in water because that way you're sure you're not going to.
You're not going to. So
rewind
invest
them.
in a good number of like
Yes.
so many shoes,
Yeah.
and invest also on your socks.
Yes.
So that
The
you have
other
quite a number to change.
Yes. The other thing is if you keep the socks dirty for too long, the smell may linger for longer on the socks itself. Yeah. If you keep them for too long, then you've bundled them up in a basket. So even when you clean them up, the smell may not, you know, may not go out. So it is important that you know how you even put your dirty clothes, because that also matters. Sometimes you may have someone who has picked an order from their body to the clothes back to their body. So they have picked a dirty.
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle. A dirty order from their clothes, because their clothes had, you know, the normal order from a tired day, but they kept them on for too long. And then the clothes brought back the order to the body.
And then, just out of curiosity again,
Yes.
what causes, like on the feet, there are some people who have this challenge, like in between you know, their toes, like it's white, and then it's like, I don't know if it's a health condition, or probably you can also expound on that.
The most common
What
is...
causes it? Because that also, at times it can have a certain smell that is very unpleasant.
The most common is failure to clean your, to dry your feet properly when you come from taking a bath, because you need to do that. When you take a bath, one, you need to rinse your feet properly. You know, I've asked many people how they take a bath, and for so many, once you've cleaned your feet, you don't rinse them. You assume that the water is going to, you know.
Valentine, if we hang around you, we'll have to change almost everything we do.
Yeah.
Like
so
when we bathe,
the water is going to pass by as it cleans.
It will clean automatically.
Automatically. The same way you rinse your face.
Top-bottom approach.
Yeah. You have to rinse your feet.
Your feet.
Yeah, so that if there was soap in between your toes, you need to rinse that out.
Okay.
And then after rinsing that out, you need to dry it out, because that is a challenge.
Okay.
And then when you're drying it out, it is the feet towel. It is not your body towel that you're using to dry it out. So you need a body towel to do that. The other thing that may cause people to have these things is stones. I don't know what they have another name. These stones for scrubbing your feet.
Okay.
Those stones, most of them have spaces. And in these spaces, dirt collects, bacteria collects.
Ah, okay.
And of course, what you do is you have bacteria collecting from the bathroom, from the body, everything put together, cocktail, together.
And mostly they are left on the bathroom floor.
Yes, you leave them on the bathroom floor. You leave them on the window where geckos pass.
Okay.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, you just bring it back. So you're going to have issues with the skin on your feet.
What do you advise people who have feet that sweats a lot? You know, that's their natural state. But then sweat can be a cause of bad odor, like you're sharing with us. So what do you advise people who have that specific condition?
For starters, you can use open shoes. Yeah, that is something that you can do if you're sweating a lot. You can use open shoes. Again, you need to know, is this sweat, are you sweating a lot because of the type of shoe that you have, or do you just sweat a lot? Because sometimes if you have a certain type of shoe, you feel as if you're sweating a lot because it's not properly absorbent. So it sometimes...
Like people who wear plastic shoes.
Yes, you feel as if you're sweating a lot. So maybe the type of shoe is also something. But if you're sweating a lot, if it is your body, you can try open shoes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then maybe when you have a sit down somewhere, just remove your shoes and air out your feet. Yes.
Let's talk about the armpits. Yes. Makwapa.
Makwapa.
And you know, people prefer perfumes and roll-on and all that just because, you know, it helps solve the problem.
Yes.
Talk to us. What is the most common cause of bad odor on your armpits?
One, we have hair on our armpits, all right? So how we treat that hair is something. Because there are people who prefer to stay without the hair. They'll remove the hair through either waxing or shaving or whichever other means that they may prefer that. So then there are people who want to keep the hair.
The natural state.
The natural state, which is all right. It is not a problem. People ask me every time, should we shave, should we not shave? And I say, you can keep the hair or you cannot keep the hair. If you keep the hair, you have to know that the hair is trapping much more, okay? So if it is trapping that much more, then that means there's much more dirt on your armpits. Because again, if you keep the hair and you're using deos or something of that sort, you are again adding on to the sweat, to the natural sweat that you have.
So if you keep hair, you're not supposed to use roll-ons and...
That's why I was driving to now,
Okay.
saying the hair is trapping much more. And our hair does not look like, you know, it's not straight. It's curled up.
Yeah, true.
That means it just curls the dirt down. So everyone, for those who use hair and those who don't, when you use deo, for example, you have to clean it out properly. I have challenges where I speak to people and again, just like the feet, when we clean our armpits, you just want to pass, you know, like
yeah,
very fast. And yeah, you know, very fast.
Yeah.
And that is, you've had the roll-on, for example, the whole day. It's been trapping sweat the whole day.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And is there any like negative consequence of using roll-on, for example? Something that probably you've gathered? Some people say it can cause cancer.
Well,
is it true?
Well, from the studies that I've seen, that the reason is it has some chemicals that are known to, you know, to be very good at causing something like breast cancer.
Okay.
And you know, the armpits are very close to breast cancer. There's some people who argue again that the quantities of the chemical that are used are very low. But again, you cannot argue like that because, you know, our bodies are different. We have different immune systems, we have different genes, we have different, you know, susceptibilities to all these things. So I normally say don't experiment with your body because that is where we may both eat bad food, but only one of us, you know, gets sick because we are very different. So it is good to know that there is that.
It's good.
It's not exactly good.
Affected.
If you have, for example, if you use it like after shaving and maybe you have open skin, of course it's very, very dangerous because it gets into your skin and it's supposed to be just on the skin. If you don't clean it out properly, like I'm saying, you need to scrub it out because it's been there the whole day. Again, it becomes dangerous. That's why you see people ask me, why do my armpits turn black or change color? It is because, one, you had that deo, you don't clean it properly. So what you do is the following day, you just add deo and sweat.
Which color should the hair on the armpits be like? There are people who have a mixture of brown, cream and all that. Like, what should you be concerned about the moment you see the color changing? One,
if your color is changing from black.
If it's normal, it should be black.
Black. Yeah, if it's changing from black, then there's something going on, unless it's, you know, turning gray or something.
You're getting old.
If it's changing from black, you should be concerned. And even your own skin color, for those who don't keep hair, they'll notice that the skin color can change. Because it's darker. Because one, you are, like I've said, if you don't clean out today the deo, so tomorrow, if you don't clean it out properly, like you have to scrub it out and, you know, remove it properly. Tomorrow, what you'll do, you add sweat and more deo to it. That is like adding, you know, more salt to the injury. And you do that every other day, every other day. Then at some point...
So that area turns darker compared to other parts of your body?
Then some people will also notice that they've gotten a different kind of odor. And they can no longer mask it. It is because you have a lot of dirt that is trapped there that needed to be scrubbed out.
Is there anything like, this is my natural state of smell? There are people who are like that and they're like, this is, you'd even know when they're around. Yeah? Well, is there something like that? Is it
for
is
those
it
that is no, for those that it is very pronounced,
it is.
It is not very good again. Because like I said, your natural state is just a fresh state. It is not something that is pronounced. Something that is pronounced again is something different. It's something that, you know, needs to be checked. But those that have had issues with the armpits and need to check, they can check through, you can use something, like they're natural methods, for those who do not want to use deos, but you still want to have the same effect. For example, something like bicarbonate of soda is very good for the armpits. You just use some, on maybe some cotton wool with some bit of water and you apply. It forms some sort of a paste. It's really good. And, you know, it has the same effect. It dries up the sweat. Of course, it won't give you the...
Is it nice to dry? Like, I think we're supposed to sweat. There's a reason why we are sweating. But then there is this new trend that now we all have to use roll-ons and all those you know, options that you're giving us not to sweat.
Yeah.
Are we harming ourselves by doing that?
Yes, we are, because sometimes I normally say some of these things that we are actually going for are not things that we need. Okay, because I mean, if you if your sweat is giving you problems, are you taking enough water? That's a starter question that you should ask yourself. Are you taking enough water? Are you taking a bath the right way? I remember we talked about bathing the right way, and we talked about the fact that you will not get rid of an odor because of taking a bath 2 times or 3 times. It is taking a bath correctly,
the right way.
So if you do it the right way once or twice, it is still okay. But if you do it the wrong way, those 2 times, you will not get the results that you desire. All right? So it is important that we know that whatever it is that you're going for, is it something that you need? What effect is it having to you? You know, it's like the gel that we use on our nails. Okay. We don't have a lot of information. Like there's a difference on those, you know, machines that we use for drying it. There's the UV and LED.
Yeah, rays that are
yes,
used,
I would prefer the LED because they are less dangerous to the skin. Because of course we know what the UV does to our skin. But are those things that we are aware of?
We don't really take time.
We don't take time to understand. These are things, and we are so active on matters that really don't, you know, benefit us, but we don't take time to understand these things.
And people are also out to make money, so they will do whatever they want to block us from getting that piece of information.
Exactly. So it is important that we know even the quantities of these chemicals in these products. Like if you see a new product in the market or a product that is being pushed so much, you know, you need to know why am I really being fed so much to this product? You need to find out, is it a good product? Is it not a good product? It is important that you find out for yourself, because at the end of the day, when you are sick, you don't blame anybody else. You blame yourself. It is your time that goes, it is your resources that go. So you have to take, you know, the power in your own hands, so that, you know, if this person is doing it wrong, they're selling to you a product that is bad, you as a person, what you should do is just go off the product. Yes.
Let's talk about, as we are just about to bring this conversation to a close, let's talk about the mouth very quickly, because that is also another source of odor. What would you advise my viewer this morning in terms of, you know, that particular part of our body?
One, the mouth, you need to be very careful. Odor, you can get it because one, maybe you have food that is lodged in between your teeth, or you have cavities. They could also be giving odor. People that don't brush their teeth properly. The other thing is you could be having maybe something like candida. You can have it on your mouth as well. Yes. So you could be having that. It could also give a certain kind of odor. And remember, you know, you can pass it on, or you can get it from somebody else. So, and you can get it from like private parts. So it is important that, you know, you pay attention to your mouth. If you see a sore on your mouth, please pay attention to it. You can invest in a mouthwash. So after brushing, or even especially those people,
and brushing the right way.
And brushing the right way. You remember we used to be taught how to brush, and even our children, when you're teaching them how to brush, let us teach them how to brush the right way. Then brushing after every meal. Most of the foods that we are taking nowadays have a lot of sugar in them, and we know what sugar does. So it is good that we keep removing them from our mouths. So flossing is also very good, so that you remove that which you can't reach. So for people who have had a lot of work done, dental work done, so that means they get a lot of cavities, they are also prone to a lot of odor from their mouths. So it could be either the cavities or the foods that are lodged, or it could be you have sores due to anything, maybe candida or something else. So you've really, you know, shared with us a lot. We take that for today. We'll invite you another time to talk about the very essential area. So that we couldn't, you know, talk about today, because body odor comes from different places. This is one thing you need to understand. So the moment you find out that there is something weird about your smell, you need to take time, love your body, assess and check what is it that you're not doing right,
what is it that you're failing to do, so that you can be able to be your own solution to the problem that you have. Thank you so much, Valentine. Any parting shot this morning?
Well, I'd say we need a cleaner nation, we need a cleaner people, and it has to come from within. Yes.
Okay.
And even as, we're in this, now is the season where young girls are being initiated and young boys are being initiated. As you teach them about morals, as you teach them about sex and everything, please make sure you include
hygiene.
Personal hygiene,
wow.
Yes. And of course, they can find me on Facebook using my name.
Okay.
Yeah, Valentine Nyakiere.
Nyakiere.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time once again.
Thank you very
and
much.
Thank you for watching Good Morning Kenya so far. There is still more coming your way. We take a short break. The show will be right back.